Hey folks, Deano here again. This time, finally, after quite a bit of back and forth with my local courier company, thanks Yodel, yeah, I'm calling you out, I finally have the Mythos anime Six-Eared Macaque, otherwise known as Xeno Super Saiyan 4 Limit Breaker Vegeta. And yeah, oh boy, this was one hell of a journey to get here. Like, just to vent quickly, right? This was meant to get delivered Thursday of last week. Okay? The driver claimed twice that he couldn't find my address, which is a load of rubbish, because they have delivered to me many times before. So yeah, I spent the entire weekend basically worrying that my figure had been stolen, which is not a fun experience, let me tell you. But yeah, finally have it in hand, thankfully. Hopefully the next items, the guy magically remembers where my address is, but yeah, what can you do? But yeah, this is Xeno Super Saiyan 4 Limit Breaker Vegeta from Dragon Ball Heroes, or technically Xenoverse, because it's based off the same like Xeno, Goku and Vegeta sort of thing, but it was never seen in those games. Hopefully Xenoverse 3, we will see some of this, but yeah. I know, like, a lot of people have had some opinions on this guy, mostly about his build, and we will get into that more further on in the video when we actually take a look at him. But I will say right off the bat, he is too tall. Like, it's typical Kong Studios, Beast Deities, Mythos anime shenanigans. He is way too tall. I really wish Mythos anime would start like getting the scale correct, because as it stands right now, you are kind of going to struggle to fit this guy into your collection. You really are. But that being said, Treasure Toy Wholesale Store does still have this guy in stock. Appreciate them for sending this out for me to review. They were going to get me to review the KW Cell Juniors, but issues led to that not arriving, so we landed on this guy instead. So yeah, thank you to them. Link is in the description if you wish to purchase from them. And yeah, without further ado, let's get this guy off turntable and take a look at these very battered boxes. So, in terms of the boxes, it's your usual Beast Deities Mythos anime shenanigans at this point. 3 separate boxes to try and avoid ye old copyright law. But yeah, we have the main box, which has the figure and hands. We have the Emotion Memory Bookmarker set, which is all the faces. And we have the Penholder Bling box, which has the hair and the replacement skip piece, which I have already put on him. And the one that comes on him is good. It is really nice, but it doesn't have the red shading on it, which, yeah, we will talk about that shortly. But yeah, the boxes, nothing really to look at. There's some random blurbs on here. They have been destroyed to all hell. That is, I'm going to blame Yodel for that as well. So, because Treasure Toy Wholesale Store did package it really well. It was bubble wrapped and everything, so yeah, fully on the courier's fault there. I suppose I shouldn't really be surprised. Like, Yodel is by far the worst courier company in the UK. So, lead up to Christmas and things like that, yeah, they're definitely going to get some things wrong. And yeah, if anyone cares about the random blurb for who this Vegito is meant to be, 4 Monkeys of Chaos. Okay. I mean, at least they've took it from Journey to the West, which is originally what Dragon Ball is based off. But yeah, it is it for the boxes. Let's take a look at what he comes with. So I am going to have to split this up into multiple parts for the accessories, because he comes with a hell of a lot. And admittedly, a lot of it is fluff. Just the whole getting around copyright sort of thing. But yeah, I feel as if they're going a bit too far these days. But yeah, we get this cloak here with really nice embossed logo on here, kanji. I would assume it's Chinese. It's nice. It doesn't have any wires or anything in it though, so as I said, superfluous. I would also be careful with it if for some reason you want to use it on this figure or a different figure. I know the Beast Deities Broly, the cloak that came with that actually stained the soft rubber overlay on his torso, so yeah, be careful of that. And we have 2 skip pieces. You get this one on him in the package, which is a more standard, non-flowing, not ripped version, but for some reason they didn't bother to put the sort of slight red tint through that one. So yeah, you're kind of stuck with this version if you buy the Limit Breaker version, which I did. And we get 2 heads, one of which is the daft 6-eared macaque head, which, I mean, admittedly it is painted, but again, when are you ever going to need to use this? Like, I don't get why they're putting so much effort into this crap. I really don't. And we get the Super Saiyan 4 head with the Limit Breaker sort of highlights on it. Looks nice. I do really like the highlights on here. Also an entirely new mold. They haven't reused like anything from the previous version that they done years ago. We get a pair of monkey hands and monkey paws at the bottom. Be careful taking these out. Nostalgia Unboxed has snapped taking them off. Same with the wrist pegs. Yeah, typical Kong Studio stuff. We get 5 heads or 5 faces here. Stern looking down into the side. That is specifically from his first appearance as a Limit Breaker. We even have I think it was an intro animation in Dokkan for that. We get a smirk, we get teeth gritted, and we get the yelling face. Yeah. And I'm not sure what it is about Beast Deities. They cannot get yelling faces right. There's no sort of expression in them at all. He's just opening his mouth. Like, he is not yelling at all there. So yeah, bit disappointing. And for some reason he comes with Kratos' Blade of Chaos, or the what is it, Soul Edge from Soul Calibur. This reminds me a lot of. Again, a lot of effort into something that really didn't need to be included in the first place. Like, I don't understand it. It's a decent enough piece. They even went through the effort of like giving it a bit of silver spray on the bottom. But yeah, just another thing to throw away, really. Keep in the box. And finally, for this segment, yes, they actually give you a pencil for the pen holder, which, there you go. Honestly, why go through so much effort? I don't get it. I really don't. But yeah, let's move on to the next part, which is all the hands and stuff. And here we are. Typical Beast Deities fashion, on Mythos anime as they're called now. We get a load of different hand accessories. And yeah, but I don't understand why this company just is seemingly unwilling to give us better quality for the wrist and now feet pegs. Like, they're doing everything bar upping the plastic quality. They genuinely are. It's bizarre to me. Like, we get 3 runners full of hands. Okay, we get 2 replacement wrist pegs, which is decent of them. Okay, the runners are obviously to keep the peg holes wide so that they don't like become far too tight on the wrist peg. And then we get 3 pairs of essentially statuesque type hands that are pre-molded to the glove, so you pull the entire glove section off. Why? I really don't get it. Like, honestly, it's mind-baffling to me how they do everything but up the plastic quality. It really is. But yeah, we get a pair of fists, a pair of thumbs-up hands, a pair of key blast holding hands with the peg on them, a pair of throat holding hands, Zamasu style. Not sure why they're included, but handy anyway. Pair of key blast hands, sort of splayed out, sort of not. Pair of martial arts posing hands. Pair of the multi-finger blast hands. Again, I don't think Super Saiyan 4 Vegito ever used that attack, but it is one of his attacks, I suppose. 3 pairs of these weird sort of whole gauntlet things. So a pair of fists, a pair of relaxed hands, and a pair of splayed open, well, not splayed open, Big Bang style hands, specifically for this. His Keyblade, which is quite nice if a little bit small, especially compared to the OC Toys version. And finally, for some reason, we get a single-celled amoeba. Yeah, don't ask me what they were thinking when they came up with this. Like, this is horrendous. This is a virus. Like, this isn't a key blast. This isn't a Kamehameha. This isn't anything to do with Dragon Ball. I have no idea what they were thinking with this. So yeah, the pegs or the little stems that came out, those came on a runner, so I had to snip them out. Luckily I had Gundam snips on me, or that would have been a bit of trouble. They plugged in okay, but some of them are quite warped because it's soft plastic, so it was quite difficult overall to keep them in. If you plan on actually using that effect, probably just glue the stems in place. But yeah, for me, that's going straight back in the box. Like, I don't know what the purpose of that is. I really don't. But yeah, that'll do it for accessories. Let's move on to the figure. So, to pop this guy all back together, we start off... What is that? Is that some sort of lubricant that's on that? Yeah, I'm not touching that, that ball joint. I don't know what that is. I'm assuming that is indeed lubricant, but... yeah, you can never be too sure. Let's just leave that at that. So this popped off easy enough, so it should pop back on just as well. Yep, there we go. Simple as that. The feet, as I said, when you're pulling off the monkey feet, pull straight down. If you twist that even a little, you risk just breaking that foot peg. So yeah, be very, very careful. Popping the hands on, you will feel very little resistance at the start, but you do have to keep pushing and it will pop in, thankfully. Just be very, very careful. As I said before, Nostalgia Unboxed, his broke with very little effort. So yeah, just be very careful. If you do want to try swapping out the sort of entire gauntlet, swivel it and the entire forearm piece will pop off like that. Suggest heating it up to try putting the other bits on, because yeah, for me, they ain't budging at all. Finally, we have 3.0 style peg at the top. You just push down. Thankfully, not as difficult as the Beasties Broly was from what I've seen from those reviews. And then to pop the face on, they have finally moved away from the Super Saiyan 4 Goku style faces. And they're still similar, don't get me wrong, but they go on a lot better now, and they hold in place really, really well with no gaps, thankfully. Just like that, pop straight on. And yeah, just like that, he is good to go. Now, bad points about this figure to start with, of which there are, unfortunately, a couple. Let's say, moving back a bit so you can see the entire figure. So yeah, standard QC issues with this guy. There is a few bits of like flashing and sprue left over on the figure. You can see it on like the head quite a bit there, which really shouldn't be the case for how expensive Beast Deities or Mythos anime figures tend to run. The legs seem a bit on the loose side for my liking. Like, most of the rest of the figure is fine, but the legs themselves, yeah, they're a bit loose. We'll get into that in a minute. The abs, like lower stomach section here, likes to go up in that way when you're using the articulation. We'll probably see that soon. Why has my camera just decided to go down the way? I don't get why my camera always does that, but yeah. Yeah, the entire lower assembly here likes to go that direction for some reason. The camera's done it again. It's trying to focus on the head so much. But yeah, upper torso and crotch piece is a soft, more rubbery material, which is very nice. There is some slight shading in between those pecs right there. It's quite nice. And the whites on this version of the figure have a sort of pinkish glow to them. Which, yeah, limit breaker, that tracks. But for whatever reason, they haven't sprayed the entire figure. Like the original Kong Studios version that they made a few years ago now had this really nice pearlescent sheen to the entire figure, including the fur, which they'd done it with their Super Saiyan 4 Goku Xeno as well. And yeah, just a shame that they didn't do that for this, because it doesn't look quite as sort of a unique as it otherwise would up against the standard Super Saiyan 4 Vegito. So yeah, apart from that though, it does look really, really nice. Those issues aside, I do wish this, the one that is on him in the package, I do wish that would have had this sort of slight pink spray that they put on the replacement piece, because yeah, I would have liked to have the non-torn version on him, quite frankly, but I feel I can't really do that because it doesn't have the sheen. Plus, Super Saiyan 4 Vegito, I don't think his skirt piece was ever actually ripped like this, so yeah, just something to keep in mind. But yeah, onto articulation, and it's decent. Again, Beast Deities, Mythos anime, they always tend to go off looks. That's something I didn't actually talk about there. Apologies. Quite a few people think his sort of torso is way too wide. I don't actually agree. I think it's the perfect sort of the perfect design, because most of the artwork, and even in the Dragon Ball Heroes anime, he does have a really wide, bulky frame, especially in the limit breaker form. So yeah, people might disagree with me there. That's fine, but to me, this is actually accurate. It's the height that we have issue with, not the build itself. But yeah, articulation. Because we have the big Super Saiyan 4 hairpiece, we do have the ball joints that sort of get out of the way slightly, so you can look up a bit that much, not a whole lot, quite frankly. You can look down a good amount, but the face does start to like pop off of the head, so bear that in mind. These pieces here are, I think, just on swivels because they don't really pop down any, which is kind of frustrating when you're wanting it to lean against his shoulders. But yeah, swivel, pivot, side to side. Neck does move as well. Decent enough considering how bulky his hair is overall. Arms can go up that much. They can swivel. For some reason, these deities are leaning quite heavily into this softer material because they didn't cut a butterfly joint into him. They're expecting you just to flex the material out the way, which, yeah, it kind of works. You can just about get him into a Kamehameha pose, but yeah, that's a bit on the lazy side, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, you can push it. It will eventually push itself back out, though. But yeah, just again, something to bear in mind. Bicep swivel, double joint at the elbow, gets just at 90 and no more. I feel as if we could have cut this a bit better, but that's what it is. Ab section, you get some decent pivot and swivel. As I said, you use that joint and this just completely warps itself out of the way. Because of the soft torso there, he gets some decent front and decent enough arc back as well. And as I showed, swivel and pivot is all there and all accounted for. That lower ab section is a real pain in the backside. With the skirt piece is a very soft, malleable plastic, which is good. Still kind of gets in the way of the legs though. You can push them out about that far before the skirt piece starts pushing back, which is a bit of a shame. I feel you would get the full splits without it. So if anyone is planning on purchasing the GT version, which, yeah, there is a fan-made GT version that Beast Deities or Mythos Anime are making, you would get perfect splits there. He can kick forward really well. Despite the fact that this is a softer material at the crotch, the skirt combined, he can't really get further than that, which is a bit of a shame. You can kick back slightly, but not too much. Thigh rotation right there. I have to say the thigh cut is so bad looking on this. Like, I'm thankful that the skirt piece hides it, because, yeah, why is this a right angle cut? I really don't get it. Like, weird. Double joint at the knees. Gets that much right there. Really, really, like, nicely designed knees right there. Like, you can go all the way and you just barely see a gap at the bottom here. So, yeah, quite nicely designed. No boot swivel, but you do get a foot swivel right there. Because it's a ball hinge down at the bottom, you get some decent down, decent up, toe articulation, and some ankle pivot, which isn't the best because, again, Beast Deities not learning the lesson and not cutting out a gap at the side for that. But yeah, I really think Beast Deities need to start listening to consumers instead of doing their own thing. Like, we have been telling them for years at this point to stop focusing so heavily on how a figure looks as opposed to how it performs. But yeah, at this point, I don't think they'll ever listen in that way, because too many people just glaze Mythos Anime despite their flaws. I really don't get it. But yeah, but overall, this is a decent figure. Just not as good as it could have been. It feels a bit rushed. And yeah, I'm already feeling some issues with these feet. The feet do seem a little bit small for the rest of this frame. So he is struggling big time to stand up. So yeah, the other Super Saiyan 4 that I've got, this is the demoniacal fit one. Yeah, that figure wasn't even great when it came out because it predated the official Super Saiyan 4 mold. So yeah, it's not the best, is it? Plus you can see right there the difference in scale. Like, that's insane. Here we have the demoniacal fit Xeno Super Saiyan 4 as well, which is taller than the official Super Saiyan 4. So yeah, I don't get it. Like, why did we just throw scale out the window? I'm so confused. Like, such a nice looking figure overall, despite the QC and the articulation issues. But for some reason, they just had to go and waste it with the scale. Like, you're going to struggle a little fitting this guy into a display unless you've got him posed up with like the key blast or key blade in hand. But yeah, overall, it's still a nice figure. I do still recommend it. Just be aware of the flaws that it has, and just, yeah, don't try to pretend there aren't issues with this guy, because there definitely are, 100%. So yeah, guys, that will do it for this review. As I said before, link is in the description if you do wish to purchase. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Leave a comment, let me know what you guys think. And until next time, I'll see y'all later. And don't let the virus get you.